Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Monday, February 27th, 2023. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. High Court Judge, His Lordship Justice Patrick Thompson Jr. on Monday, February 27th at the Theodore L. Hobson Court Building issued his ruling on strikeout applications filed by the respondents regarding the election petitions which were filed by Nevis Reformation Party NRP candidates J.D. Keynes and Dr. Patricia Bartlett, challenging the results of the December 12, 2022 Nevis Island Assembly elections. Attorneys at law Brian Barnes and Leanne Wellington, legal representatives for respondents, Concerned Citizens Movement CCM candidates Spencer Brand and Mark Brantley, spoke to the NIA's Department of Information following Monday morning's court ruling.
This matter came before the court on the petition of Ms. J.D. Keynes, challenging the outcome of the December 12 election. And they brought this petition, filed it. Having reviewed the petition, we came to the conclusion that these petitions, the one against Spencer Brand brought by Ms. Keynes and the one against Mark Brantley brought by Ms. Bartlett, were nullities. We brought that to their attention by way of applications, and they persisted. The court gave its decision today, striking out both petitions and ordering costs against both petitioners, with costs to be agreed if not taxed. We have already canvassed before the court that in a previous election case, before Justice Williams, as she then was, cost was established and a basis was established. However, on this order, we will be pursuing an assessment of our costs if not agreed. So effectively, Minister Brantley, Minister Brand will effectively be able to go back to their respective jobs and to do the business of the country, the petitions having been struck out as a nullity.
According to the election's results, in the constituency of Nevis 1, Spencer Brand of the CCM won 631 votes over the NRP's J.D. Keynes with 604, while in the constituency of Nevis 2, Mark Brantley won with 1,313 votes over the NRP's Dr. Patricia Bartlett with 1,166 votes, and Samuel Keynes of the Moral Restoration Movement MRM with 17 votes.
Today I am indeed filled with mixed emotions, really, because from the outset I felt that these petitions needed not to find themselves in the halls of the court, because from reading them from the beginning we knew that they were just unsubstantiated. Today I want to take this opportunity to thank the capable and competent legal team at Daniel Brantley and Associates for ensuring that today we receive the outcome that we had hoped for, and that is to have both petitions struck out, the one for Premier Brantley and the one for myself. I want to thank them for their hard work and their commitment. And as Mr. Barnes would have indicated, we continue working for and on behalf of the people of Nevis.
Justice Thompson heard the strikeout applications on February 15th, 2023. The Nevis Island Administration's 2023 budget was passed in the Nevis Island Assembly on February 24th. The Nevis Appropriation 2023 Bill 2023 is a bill to appropriate certain sums of money for the use of the public service of the island of Nevis for the financial year commencing on January 1st, 2023 and ending on December 31st, 2023. According to Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Mark Brantley, the expenditure budget for the fiscal year 2023 is set at $261.6 million.
The Office of the Premier is allocated funding in the amount of $11.3 million, representing 4.33% of the total budget. Included in this amount of funds allocated to support the security services, preparation of the delivery of the geothermal project, and the expansion of our CCTV program in our fight against crime. The Ministry of Finance is allocated funding in the amount of $89.2 million, representing 34.09% of the total budget. Included in this amount are funds allocated to meet our debt servicing obligations. The Ministry of Communications and Works is allocated funding in the amount of $35.9 million, representing 13.7% of the total budget. Included in this amount are funds allocated for our infrastructure development program, namely the upgrading of our road network, maintaining of government buildings and other structures, along with provisions for upgrading our water services. The Ministry of Agriculture is allocated funding in the amount of $17.6 million, representing 6.73% of the total budget. Included in this amount are funds allocated for our food sustainability and security initiatives, establishing the poultry industry, upgrading of our processing facilities, and our response to natural disasters.
He also outlined the major allocations in expenditure for the Ministries of Health, Gender Affairs, Social and Community Development, Tourism, Education, Library Services, Information Technology, Youth and Sports.
The Ministry of Health, Gender, Social Affairs, Social and Community Development is allocated funding in the amount of $49.4 million, representing 18.88% of the total budget. Included in this amount are funds allocated for improvements to our healthcare facilities, procurement of specialized equipment and supplies, completion of the internal layout for the Alexandra Hospital expansion program, along with funding of programs at social services and community development. The Ministry of Tourism is allocated funding in the amount of $9.6 million, representing 3.67% of the total budget. Included in this amount are funds allocated for the repositioning of our tourism sector so as to recapture the momentum of the pre-pandemic era and for maintaining our various tourism products on island to enhance our visitor experience. The Ministry of Education, Library Services, Information, Technology, Youth and Sports is allocated funding in the amount of $43.7 million, representing 16.69% of the total budget. Included in this amount are funds allocated for the delivery of quality education to our people, repositioning of the education system by adopting online platforms in support of the virtual classroom, executing work under the CDB TVET enhancement program, general maintenance of our educational facilities, upkeep of our sporting facilities, and funding programs for our youth.
The NIA's 2023 budget address was delivered with the theme, Charting a Pathway to Socio-Economic Transformation, Investing to Accelerate Growth. Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, will host his next monthly press conference on Tuesday, February 28th. The press conference will be held at the Cabinet Room on the second floor of the Social Security Building at Pinnes Estate. Premier Brantley will provide an update on matters pertaining to Nevis, and members of the press will have the opportunity to ask questions. The press conference will be broadcast live from 10 a.m. on Nevis Television NTV Channel 99, Flow TV Channel 103, NevisTVOnline.com, NTV Go app, Nevis Television Facebook page, and Nevis Newscast YouTube channel. Faith-based leaders in Nevis have given their full support to the Federal Ministry of Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs as it seeks to establish and stage the National Day of Prayer on February 28th as an annual initiative. The leaders held their first face-to-face engagement with Permanent Secretary Elrita Simpson Brown on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, during a meeting at the Charlestown Wesleyan Holiness Church. The meeting came on the heels of a virtual discussion last week with support from Pastor Clive Saunders, chairman of the Planning Committee for the National Day of Prayer. The participants were able to finalize activities to be staged in Nevis as part of the National Day of Prayer. Permanent Secretary Simpson Brown says the meeting was very fruitful as several activities were confirmed for the observance. These include scheduling prayer sessions in schools and churches, organizing a prayer walk and hosting a special service at 7 p.m. at the Bath Road New Testament Church of God. The permanent secretary says the leaders are very energetic and have encouraged closer collaboration between the government and the faith-based community in the future to ensure that there are synergies between activities held in St. Kitts and in Nevis. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, says it is seeking to strengthen cholera surveillance in the region by focusing on preparing national laboratories in the Caribbean with the means to identify and respond to potential imported cases of the virus. PAHO held a 3-day virtual training workshop last week conducted by the Costa Rican Institute of Research and Training in Nutrition and Health. The training was attended by 86 laboratory technicians from 13 countries and territories in the Caribbean, including St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname and Trinidad and Tobago, and Turks and Caicos, as well as representatives from the Caribbean Public Health Agency. The sessions focused on a variety of factors related to the laboratory diagnosis of Vibrio cholerae, the bacteria that causes cholera, including the cultivation of samples from suspected areas, good laboratory practices, biosafety, reading and interpreting biochemical tests, PCR testing for virulence factors, antimicrobial susceptibility, and the correct use of rapid diagnostic tests, among other topics. PAHO has called on all countries of the region to strengthen and maintain cholera surveillance and to prepare to detect and respond to suspected cases early in order to provide adequate treatment and prevent spread. Cholera is an acute infection caused by ingestion of food or water contaminated by the bacterium Vibrio cholerae. It causes watery diarrhea, which, without timely treatment, can quickly lead to severe dehydration and death. And that's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.